This is one of my favorite real estate platforms and one that you probably never heard about, a way for us to tap into some incredible information that I haven't found anywhere else. So that's what we're going to jump into today. This is the TopHap training. I'm so excited to introduce this to quite a few of you, or maybe reintroduce this to those that have seen this but haven't taken advantage of this quite yet. So this is today's training. My name is Aaron Lacey, and I'm one of you. I am licensed. I've been licensed for almost 20 years. In fact, back in 2004, I was part of the $1 Million Club. For those that have been in real estate for a while, this was actually a thing, the $1 Million Club. What did this mean to homeowners? They had no idea what this meant. But to us, it meant we sold at least $1 million worth of real estate. And once upon a time, it meant something. Now that's one sale, right? But over the last 20 years, I've spent my time understanding how to leverage tools, platforms just like this. I've helped over 10,000 agents grow their business by utilizing industry-leading strategies in the areas of brand development, creating differentiation for yourself, leveraging social media, technology tools, lead generation, and staying top of mind. And I don't just talk about things that I don't do. In fact, I do most of the things that I talk about and coach on. So this is who I am. I am a psychology-driven digital marketing coach for real estate. I am an NAR certified technology instructor. I'm involved with Inman News as an ambassador, contributing author, and I've dedicated virtually my entire adult life to real estate, to helping real estate agents level up in their business, identify blind spots. I work with a company called My Home, and My Home is a sister company of WFG National Title. And rumor has it that WFG also has access to TopHap and could potentially get you access. So talk to the person that invited you this, and I'll share a little more information at the end so that you can get access to this amazing tool. And for those that are part of a brokerage, a team, an association looking for a guest speaker to speak about something like this or another topic, I'm available. Okay, so again, reach out to the person that invited you to this if you want to connect with me on any of the topics here. Right now, some of the more popular ones are artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, Instagram Reels, TikTok. I did a session yesterday for a brokerage in the Scottsdale area on emotional intelligence. So we cover a little of everything. And this is my family right here, what I call the hashtag nerd life. We're constantly nerding out on amazing tools just like this. So today's objectives, we're going to cover what is TopHap? What is this amazing data tool that you all should be and will be, hopefully after today's session, utilizing in your business? How can you tap into 47 trillion data points? Yeah, you read that right. It's basically been a black hole for data. They've loaded in all the data they can find in our industry. And now you have access to that at your fingertips. I'm going to show you how to leverage that here in a moment. We're going to cover generating a powerful CMA and then how to compare areas and properties. I love this feature because it allows you to compare two neighboring cities, allows you to compare multiple properties in a side-by-side format, but you could even compare areas outside of your state. So you could compare a local area. Let's say you live in Irvine and you have a client or an investor client, maybe relocating to Phoenix, or maybe they're looking to acquire a home in Phoenix. You can actually compare those two areas side by side. And then you're able to generate a property profile from this platform as well. So we're going to jump into all those things starting right now. So I'm going to head over to tophap.com. So tophap.com. And I'm right on the homepage. Now, you may have heard Tom Ferry recently started talking about TopHap and how he loves this platform. If you subscribe to The Close, which is a great real estate newsletter and website, they're talking about TopHap. The California Association of Realtors recently brought on TopHap as one of their featured member benefits. And so it is generating quite a bit of buzz. If you're a member of the Bay East Association of Realtors, you have access to TopHap And those all provide you with discounts. And I'll get into a little more how you can get access to this without having to go through your local association. So here we are on TopHap.com. And again, I want to just walk you through what this is. So it's a real estate intelligence platform allowing us to tap into data, but in a very visual way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on Go to Map. So I'm going to head right into the platform. And now here's what you see when you load up TopHap, right? Two things: properties on one side, and you see a map on the other. And what's happening is the system is visually interpreting data. In other words, you'll see these different colors. It's basically allowing us to go through a number of criteria to visually see what's happening in a specific area. So here I am over the Phoenix, Arizona market. You'll see properties plotted. These are all active properties on the MLS. Okay, this system is actively syncing with the MLS. But what I can do is I can turn that off, and I want to show you these visualization layers that are available to you. Absolutely powerful stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little map legend, and I'm going to turn off the properties for a moment. Now you can see the entire Phoenix, Arizona area. And again, you can do this for your area, wherever you're located. I know we have folks on the call in multiple states. And at the bottom of the screen, though, this is how you overlay the data that's color-coded on the map. And it's broken down into 8 different categories. I've never seen anything like this. I'm a national realtor property resource, RPR instructor, and they've got some visual data mapping that's available, but nothing anywhere close to this. So let's just go through some of the data that we can overlay on top of a map. And you'll notice the first thing that we're actually seeing right now is we're seeing value data, or the TopHap estimate of value. So this is the Zillow's estimate for TopHap. You'll notice on this map, right? This is Maricopa County, Arizona. We're seeing Phoenix, Scottsdale, Paradise Valley. You'll see light colors and you'll see dark colors. The darker the color, the higher the value. The lighter the color, the lower the value. In fact, if you want to look at the map legend in the top left, you can click on that map legend. It'll show you what data layer you're viewing, and then it'll provide you with a key to what these colors mean. Okay, so the lighter colors go down to about 300,000. The darker colors go up to about 2.6 million. You can see that right here. Okay, for those folks that are in Orange County or the Bay Area, I know they're basically giving away properties in Arizona. Okay, so here's what we got. This is the heat map. Okay, we're visually looking at estimates of value. Now, what a great way to just see where values are throughout any particular area. And by the way, this is a national platform. In fact, I can zoom out and it's going to allow me to visualize this data anywhere in the country. Okay, so I could head over to Orange County. I can zoom in. Notice how those colors are a little darker, but they change because they're relevant based on the area. As I scroll into the Newport Beach area here, you can see that the TopHap value estimates have changed from a low of 588 to a high of 5.7. So depending on where my map overlay is, it's going to change the colors accordingly. I'm going to stay here for a second. This is us visualizing values. Now, if I want to drill down, I'm going to simply click the plus sign in the top right, or I'm going to use my mouse cursor, and I'm going to start to drill down and get even closer in. And I can start to get closer. And you'll notice it's now color coded for specific properties. I can drill down right into particular properties here. I see estimates of value. And by the way, this value estimation system is pretty accurate. So they have their own AVM. And AVM stands for Automated Valuation Model, similar to a Zillow's estimate or what Redfin provides or Realtor.com provides. And then I can drill down even further. I'm not going to get into the property level quite yet. Again, I want to continue to show you all the different data you can overlay on this map in a visual way. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to come back over here. And I want you to see that I can start to toggle between all these different data points. I can look at, again, estimates of value. I can look at estimate based on dollar per square foot. And then it gives me the range of dollar per square foot that's visible within my screen right now. In California, I can look at value appreciation. What areas have appreciated the fastest over the last year? And I can even go back 20 years ago. I can even look out 2 years. They're going to use their 47 trillion data points to forecast where the highest appreciation is likely to be over the next 2 years. Okay, so that's value appreciation. And then again, you can see in the key here, everything from zero appreciation, that's in yellow, to the dark blue, that would signify a 12% increase in value over the last year. Okay, so again, we're overlaying data in a visual way. Let's pop over here again. Some of these are California only. For those that are in California, these are exclusive to you only for the moment. These will be made nationally very soon. And so you'll see that it's California only if it has an asterisk next to it. And it's pretty much just these here. These other categories are available to everybody, including Arizona. Okay. So value appreciation, TopHap rental estimate, right? We can look at things like rental dollar per square foot estimate, the accuracy, and rental estimate accuracy. Where is it most accurate, most confident in its estimates? And so you'll notice we've got 8 different categories here at the bottom. This is the value category. Again, visualizing values on the map. We can switch over to property. Now we can start to visualize areas based on properties. I'm going to click on living area. Let's go up. Let's go up a little further north. Let's head into the South Bay area, San Jose. Here we are. We've selected living area. I'm going to click open the map here. You can see that the darker the color, the larger the home. Okay. So if you have a buyer that's looking for homes of a certain size, you can quickly and easily educate them on here's where you're going to find the largest properties in these specific cities. Okay. They're clustered in these areas. Okay. And by the way, if I drill down, so I've got living area active right now, the living area criteria. If I drill down, it's going to start showing me data based on whatever criteria I've selected. So for example, I've got living area selected. Look at the data it's overlaying. It's showing me square footage of these properties. If I switched over to TopHap estimate, it's going to show me estimated value of those properties. If I switch over to bedroom count, it will then start showing me bedrooms, bathrooms, lot size, right? Where are the largest lots in your area? Okay. If I zoom out, again, I love to look at the kind of the 50,000 foot view. The darker the color, the larger the property size, ranging from 0.14 acres, right? So just a seventh and eighth of an acre, which would be what, 5,000 square feet or so, to 15 acres. Okay. Lot slope. Some of these start to get really valuable. Okay. Some of these start to get really valuable, especially lot slope. Where can you go to identify where the most level properties are in your markets? Other than your market knowledge, but you'll notice this is a valley here. And you can tell if I zoom out, we can see that according to the key, lot slope, 0% lot slope right through the middle. Darker blue, a higher slope. So obviously this is a valley here, very mountainous area. Okay. If I go back to, let's take a look at some other areas. Las Vegas, for example, very flat in nature, right? So I can zoom in to specific areas and look and see, okay, I know this home buyer wants to live in a very flat area. right, wants to have a flat lot because they want to plant a garden and maybe they've got some animals and they've got some kids and they want to do some things. Okay, let's make sure we're looking in flat areas. And just at a glance, I can say, Mr. Homebuyer, by the way, Paradise Valley is fairly mountainous, but there are some level areas within Paradise Valley that you may want to take a look at. As I drill down to the neighborhood level, down to the property level, we can now see as a percentage what the lot slope is on particular properties. 0%, 1%, 2%. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start moving a little faster through some of this criteria, but now we can start to visualize what's happening in specific areas at a 50,000 foot level, drilling down all the way to specific properties. So lot slope, how about how much flat area is available on a lot? Okay. Is it the entire lot? Is just a partial percentage of the lot? What actually is that percentage that's flat, right? How much of that lot is usable? What about properties with garages? Okay. It looks like this area has a lot of one-car garages with an occasional 2, and it looks like the rare 3 or even 4. So if somebody's got a big car collection, you can go, you know what? Here's where you're going to find a lot of garages in the Phoenix market, really in that Paradise Valley, Scottsdale area. But overall, in the central corridor of Phoenix, you're not going to find many garages. Okay. And again, imagine you doing this within your own market area. How about pools? Again, we're still under the property tab, clicking on these data points. Where are the pools located? Okay, so really interesting to see a visual representation of data. Here are all the pools and the concentration of pools throughout this market. Now, I'm going to stop right there. Would this be great social media content? Absolutely. This would be phenomenal social media content, because where can a buyer or even a seller go to find this information? Nowhere, right? This doesn't exist for them, at least not in a way that makes sense to them, that's easy to get access to. So you could create an Instagram reel simply talking about where the concentration of pools are in your market. Hey guys, by the way, did you know that there are X number of pools in this specific area, but over here there aren't any? Anybody know the reason why? Here's the reason why, right? It's based on lot size, it's based on age of home. Okay. So pretty cool stuff. How about stories? Maybe you're working with some folks that they don't want to have to walk upstairs. So we can see a visual representation of where are the single family properties versus where are properties with one or more stories in your market area. Okay. How about age of home? So I'm going to zoom out here for a second. If we zoomed into Orange County here, always curious. Let's look at a lot of multi-story homes in Irvine, in some of these areas. If we drill out one more time and come back down into, let's just say, San Jose, what's your prediction? We've got a mix, right? We've got quite the mix. Amy said, this is awesome. Take the data and then have ChatGPT write the post. Ta-da. Love that. Amy, love where your head's at. Okay. So property, stories, how about age? Okay. We can see that in the central San Jose area, downtown San Jose, we've got the older properties. And of course, usually the older properties are in the core of any city, with the newer ones on the outskirts. Okay. But again, visual representation. What happens when I drill down to an area? It's going to show me ages of homes, right? Some of these homes are 90 years old, 90 years. This home right here, guys, 118 years old. That's pretty cool. Very cool, actually. Okay, property types, right? We can view by property types, HOA fees. And again, this is California only at the moment, but we can now see HOA fees, a visual representation of how much it's going to cost you to cover that HOA in a specific area. Okay, so some pretty cool stuff there. That's the property tab. Let's go over to region. This is really where it starts to get pretty interesting as well. I think all the property features are interesting, but we've got things like walkability, right? How walkable are these properties scored? Darker the color, the more walkable, the lighter the color, the less walkable. Of course, again, walkability means how close are stores, restaurants, amenities, entertainment. How about noise? How about noise? Noisy area through here. Why is that? Probably because of the airport, right? My guess is this is a takeoff and landing kind of flight route right through here. Okay. So if people are noise sensitive, we can actually identify areas based on the average decibel, the average noise decibel. You'll notice the key over here from 0 decibels to 58 decibels. If somebody's sensitive to noises, they probably don't want to live downtown San Jose where on average it's 64 decibels. They should probably move away from that a little bit where they can move to Sunnyvale where it's in the 30s. But if we drill down, again, we can now see how loud are properties. Where would you go to find this data previous to TopHap? You might even consider doing this for your own home. Okay. How loud is your own home? I can tell you, I've got a 5 and a 6-year-old in my house. And I know this doesn't monitor the sound in the house, but it's probably 100 decibels unless the kids are sleeping. Okay, so noise. How about travel time to work? Travel time to work on average. Okay, I'm going to zoom out for a particular area. Let's move up here. Let's go up to, let's look at the Tri-Valley area here. Pleasanton, Livermore, Dublin, right? What are those drive times to work on average? This area, right? Just north of, so Pleasanton, on average, 31 minutes. North of that, 32 minutes. Dublin, 30 minutes. San Ramon, 29 minutes. Danville, average travel time to work, 28 minutes. We head out to Blackhawk, it starts to get increased by 5 minutes. Right now, we can search for properties based on travel time to work, based on noise, based on daytime population, seasonal population, based on elevation, rainfall, okay, temperature. We can see where the hottest and coolest areas are of any given area. Okay, crime index. Okay. I don't know if we're allowed to show this stuff these days, but it looks like there may be more crime in Oakland than there is east of Oakland. That's what the data is saying. Okay, if we head on down to Orange County, let's take a look. If I was trying to avoid crime, according to this, I'd probably avoid Long Beach. Okay, let's go over to the Phoenix area. I'm always just curious. Yeah, some of this is just satiating my own curiosity. Let's look at crime in the Phoenix market. I actually live in the Phoenix area, right in apparently a high crime area. That's okay. That's part of living in a city, right? All right, that's the crime index. Zoning code. Maybe you've got a client an investor that's looking for a specific type of zoning, right? We can now see different types of zoning based on specific areas and where the concentration is of specific zoning, whether they're looking for a multifamily opportunity or even a commercial opportunity, a residential commercial mixed zoning. Okay, we've got those available here by overlaying this data point. And then we even have what are called unique zones. Those are homes grouped together by their common neighborhoods, school zones, zip codes, etc. And then property density. Look at this, property density. How dense are properties in a specific area? Where's the density at? If we want a little more room, right? We want a little more space away from our neighbors. We may considering, if we're in the Phoenix area, we may consider Paradise Valley, Scottsdale. I'd even go up north, Carefree, Cave Creek, okay? You can only overlay one data point at a time. Great question. Only one data point at a time. Doug asked, how updated is the zoning information? I'll get you. I don't know how frequently the data points are updated. I've been told multiple things, daily, weekly. Yep. But if you're looking for the freshest, up-to-date zoning data, I'll get with you, Doug, and we can get you a little more of an accurate answer on that. Okay. Can the crime be broken down into type? Anthony asks. I don't believe so, Anthony. If we go back to crime index, it's basically just representative of all the crime: vehicle theft, larceny, burglary, robbery, assault, murder, and rape, compared to the national average of 100. So a score of 200 indicates twice the national average, while 50 indicates half the national average. Okay. So for example, I live in an area with a crime index of over 400. So that's 4 times the national average. Anyway, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. All right. Okay. So with that said, let's keep moving on. We've got the next tab, hazards. I need a raise. We've got hazards, earthquake risk, weather risk, wind index. So how likely is there to be an earthquake? What about the weather? Hurricane, tornadoes, hailstorms, windstorms. Okay. Wind index. What's the risk of severe winds? And I can tell you in this area, there's definitely a risk of severe winds. Okay. If we head back over to, let's head over to the East Bay area. Let's look at this. Okay. San Jose's in the clear, according to our map legend over here. But it looks like some of the areas north of that get a little windier. Now, again, take this into, you need to make sure that we've got context for this. The concept of wind is national average is usually around 100 for most of these data points, like region and hazards. So if you put your mouse over, you see a wind index of 4 or 19 or 32, you're well under the national average. So just keep that in mind. But it is showing you how windy these areas are compared to the neighbors. Okay. So it looks like Fremont is a little windier than Milpitas, which is windier than San Jose. If we jump into earthquake risk, let's find the San Andreas fault line, right? We can easily do that. And we see the darker the area, the more earthquake risk. Okay. And it's even interesting to zoom out. Again, some of this is just a lot of fun. And guess what? Social media content, a lot of fun. This is great content for social, but it's also really valuable information for a discerning buyer. It's valuable information to share with others when you have a particular listing. You can really spotlight where this property really shines. By the way, earthquake risk, LA. You can see that line right there. Okay, that's probably that San Andreas fault line would be my guess. I don't know for certain. If you want to avoid earthquakes, head out east, head away from California, right? So the positives and negatives for living in some of these areas. All right, I'm going to start to move through this a little quicker. We've got weather risk, right? We've got wind index. We talked about ozone index. We've got carbon monoxide index. Okay. We've got, again, 2, right? Poisonous gases. We've got lead index. The presence of lead-based paint and lead's presence in the air, right? For people that are really sensitive to that. Okay. Particulate matter index. Some of these data points are absolutely mind-blowing. I'll let you spend some time going through some of these when you get access to TopHap. But again, you can see how valuable this is with being able to access the 47 trillion data points. Hail index. I had some friends in Colorado that had baseball-sized hail hit their vehicles and their home and their residence recently. They actually put cushioned covers over their vehicles. I'm glad we don't have to do that in California, Arizona. Hurricane index, tornado index, drought risk, flood risk, storm risk, climate risk, right? And we can mouse over these to see what these mean, right? Here's climate risk. You can always click on the I for more information on what these look like. Wildfire risk, national risk index for all of these. Again, these are us tapping into some deep data. Okay. So let's keep moving forward to the next tab down here at the bottom where we're visually viewing data overlaid on top of a map. This is where I start to see a lot of value for us in educating our home buyers with the market data. Sold versus list. Where are properties most selling close to list and or over list price? If we look at the sold to list key over here, you can see that as we approach the dark purple, we're seeing homes selling above list price up to 110% above list price here. Okay. So we can see that in the San Jose area, and as we move up the East Bay corridor, properties, the market's hot. Fremont, homes are selling on average 104% over list price. As we move up, we can see areas like Dublin or Pleasanton, 103% over list price. Okay. We can see day on market. Now, for those outside of California, these two data points are only California, again, just for the moment, with additional coverage outside of California coming very soon. Days on market. What's the average days on market in some of these areas? It's going to provide that data to you. Okay. By the way, if I sold a property, whether I was representing the buyer or the seller, I'm going to figure out where I've exceeded market average, and that's what I'm going to advertise. That's going to be on my postcard, right? I would never send a postcard out saying just sold. I just sold another property in your neighborhood. I'm going to say just sold would never be the focus. It's going to be in small writing, but I'm going to say, yeah, I just sold one of your neighbor's homes and I sold that 18% faster and for $32,000 more than what the average is in your area. Reach out to me and let me share with you how I do that. Okay. You want to share results. So we can tap into sold to list price ratio, day on market, ownership time. This is a valuable one. Ownership time. How long have people owned their homes? Where's the most turnover happening? Which areas have the most owner occupied? Which areas have the most rentals? Last sale price. Right? What was the last recorded sale price of the property? Last sale, dollar per square foot. Where's the highest areas of turnover? If I was looking to farm, I would come in here and I would look at turnover. And here's what I love about the key on the left-hand side. We can now change time period. We can say turnover based on over the last month, 6 months, year. Where is that turnover happening? I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to go over to investment tab. We can look at gross rental yield. And by the way, these are available with what's called the expert plan that's available to you at a cost. Okay. At a cost. So if you're dealing with investors, you may consider getting access to the expert version of the platform. It does cost, but you will have access to gross rental yield, home equity change, taxes. You can actually look at areas based on how many permits have been issued in the area and then the overall value of those permits. So you can see where a lot of activity is happening with regards to permits. That's under investment. We've got community and school are the last two tabs here. And if we look at community, we can look at things like unemployment rate, population density, female versus male population. Let me just click on that here for a second. The darker the color, the more females live in the area as opposed to males. So if I look at the key, the dark areas have 53% to 47% ratio. Okay. Median age, never married, divorced, widowed, separated, blue collar, white collar. We can look at employee salary. We can look at per capita income. We can look at the number of households in these areas. We can look at the average family size, the average household
I just
size,
did the same thing.
household income. Okay. We can look at disposable household income, household expenditures. We can look at where the highest cost of living is, the lowest cost of living. And then I'm going to finish with school. We can click on number of students, right? Where in our area do we find where the classroom sizes are the smallest? How about where they have the highest school ratings? Okay. And look over here, as I click on school rating, I can select high school, middle school, elementary school. These things are important to parents. In fact, in the area that I live in, and I hear this from agents that I meet with all the time, families will choose an area based on the quality of the schools. Okay. And this is you showing them where the highest quality schools are located. If we look at San Jose, we can see overall on the elementary side, it looks like school ratings C's and D's. And as we head out of kind of the central corridor of San Jose, we start to see B's and we start to see A's. Okay. So you guys, I'm going to move forward. I want to share a few other features before we conclude today. But we've just gone through all the visual overlay criteria down here at the bottom. Okay, we know that we've got our map here. Sometimes this map shrinks up. We can expand it. We can contract it. It changes based on the data layer that we've selected. Just want to make you aware of that. Okay, you'll also see at the top, we can search specific areas. I can search for Pleasanton. Okay, and it'll then take me right over that area. I can search based on address, neighborhood, city. Let's just say Mission Park. Well, I could have searched for Mission Park. And now I have the opportunity to overlay Mission Park. Okay, I can also search for properties based on any number of criteria, active properties on the market. Okay, I'm going to click show properties. It's going to show me the active properties on market. I can overlay some data layers with property type. I can get into price, bedroom, bathroom, living area, and then I can even tap into more filters, and I can tap into things like school rating. So we can utilize some of these visual data points in our searches, and I can search for properties that have a high school rating of at least a certain score. I can tap into keywords. I can even dial into some other things like stories, year built, price per square foot, garages, lot size. With the expert plan, I can tap into more advanced features, advanced layers like some of these down here. Okay. Aaron asks, is the historical data listed in the graph chart anywhere to see the longer term trends, or just on the map as a current visualization data? Yeah, so for example, Aaron, to answer your question on that, great question. If we looked at the TopHap, let's see, which one was it? Was it the value appreciation? Yeah, right here. So for example, under appreciation, the map legend, it shows us appreciation, and we can select a time period. So we can actually see historical data overlaid here. Okay, so hopefully that kind of answers your question. On the left-hand side, we've got some other options here. Now we're on the properties section. Okay, we're on the properties main section of the platform, and that's where we're interacting with the map, and we're able to utilize search criteria up here to search for properties that match any of the criteria listed here. And then we actually see those properties show up in this list here. And by the way, I can contract and expand the list of properties. I can even click on my legend here and hide the properties from being visible. Okay. On the left side, I want to share with you a few other things. We've got a tab called Insights, will provide us a visual representation of the data we've selected here, or the criteria we've searched for, whatever's visual in this map, based on living area, lot area, bedrooms, bathrooms, and property age. It's going to show us kind of the distribution of properties visual in the map based on the age of the property. Yeah, how many properties are aged 60 years old, 40 years old? So it looks like the distribution is most of the properties here in this area are around the 50 to 60-year-old range. And then it shows us how many of those properties are available, and then what's the price of those properties on a dollar per square foot basis. So it looks like the older the property, the more expensive they are. So that's insights. You can play around with that a little bit. I'm going to dive into compare. Here for a second. There's some other questions being asked. With the expert account, you can export properties. Okay, with the export account, you can export properties. With the account that you're going to get access to by tapping into, again, rumor has it that your WFG person can get you access to do everything that we're doing right now. But the expert account is going to cost you $155. Okay, $155. And by the way, I don't represent TopHap. I'm not making any money on this. I just love this tool. Let's keep moving forward with this. But yeah, Renan, if you want to export, you would need the expert account. This is incredible. This is the compare feature on the left-hand side. We can compare homes, neighborhoods, cities, zip codes, $155 a month. Yeah, $155 a month for the expert. Now, what I'm showing you now is not going to cost you anything. But some folks are asking, how do we get the expanded functionality that I haven't even showed you that would cost you $155 a month? Okay, and if you go to tophap.com and you click on pricing, you can see all the different plans there. But just know that you'll be able to get access to this and have all the features I've showed you without it costing you anything. But if you want some of the things that others are talking about, like exporting, it's going to cost you $155. Okay. All right. Compare. Let's compare some areas. Let's compare Pleasanton. I'm going to plug in Pleasanton. And then here is all the vital information for Pleasanton based on value, property, region, hazards, market, investment, community, schools. All those data points are now all available here, expanded out. And now I'm going to click this plus sign and I'm going to pull in Livermore. And now I might even pull in Dublin. Okay. All three of these cities are right next to each other. And now I can compare these three cities with each other based on the data points. Okay. Everything I've showed so far is all available at no cost to you. Again, you're going to need to connect with the person that invited you this to get the invitation. If I expand value, I can now see the estimate, the average home value estimate for Pleasanton, 1.5 million, compared to Livermore and Dublin. So Livermore's 1.1 with a difference of 28%. So this is saying Livermore is 28% less home value on average than Pleasanton. Dublin, 18% lower estimated home values than Pleasanton. Okay, so we can see a side-by-side comparison. How valuable is this for a buyer that's looking to move to one of these areas? Now we can quickly and easily educate them on the differences between these areas. Okay, I can do the same thing. What if they're deciding to maybe move from Irvine to, let's say, for example, they're going to go from Irvine to, let's say, Scottsdale. Maybe they're considering relocating. Maybe they're considering migrating to Scottsdale. Maybe they've got a job offer in Scottsdale and they want to see the difference. At a glance, we can now see that the average home in Irvine is 1.3. In Scottsdale, it's 16% less, 16% lower. Okay. We can see things like, if I click on property, we can see, but for that 1.3 in Irvine, you're going to get a 2,200 square foot home. For that 1.1 in Scottsdale, you're going to get a 2,700 square foot home, 20% larger for less money. About the same on the bedroom counts, little more bathrooms in Irvine, lot size, larger in Irvine, lot slope, about the same. We can look at things like you're going to probably get more garages. You have a 50% more chance of getting a pool in Scottsdale versus Irvine. Homes are a little older in Scottsdale than there are Irvine. We can look at and again compare all those other data points. Look at this. We can compare the temperature. It's 25% hotter in Scottsdale. I would say that it's probably 1,000% hotter in Scottsdale, especially because it is, as I sit here in Phoenix, it's 102 degrees and we will hit a high of 116. Can you do this comparison by neighborhood? Absolutely. You can do this by neighborhood. You can do this by property. You can compare 2 properties, 3 properties, 4 properties, 5 properties. You can compare cities. You can compare zips. Let's keep moving forward. Again, I love the comparison feature for buyers, for sellers, for social media. Okay, let's keep moving forward. I'm going to go down to CMA. We can easily run a CMA for a property. If we just took a property, for example, I'm going to grab this one right here because I already have it up. This is a property located in Tempe. I'm going to start to plug that property address in here. As I plug a property address in, again, we're under the CMA tab on the left-hand side. I want to make sure that I find that property that shows up in the dropdown to ensure that I've identified the right property. Now what I do is, by the way, they have their property blurred out. Did you know you can go to Google Maps, pull up your property on Google Maps and request for them to blur your property out on Google Maps? I'm not saying you could do this or you should do this. You can do this if you want. You don't have to, in case you don't want people viewing your home on Google Maps. It looks like this homeowner's done that. Here's some vital information for this property. Underneath, you're going to see comps that the system automatically pulled in. If you want to remove a property, you can click the trash can icon. If you want to view the property, you can click on the eyeball next to the comp. If you want to add properties, you can click on add a property and add whatever properties you want. When you're done, you click on download CMA report. And then we click on done, and that CMA report will start downloading. That's how easy it is to generate a CMA on TopHap. Now, let me share with you property information. I'm going to go back to properties. Okay, let's just identify a property that's visible here in our viewable window. And by the way, that any report you generate will pop up in a new tab in a PDF format. So here we are it looks like we are in the Dublin area. I'm going to drill down and just pick one home. I could have searched for that home in the top left search box. However I get to this home, it doesn't matter. I could identify the home that's just a home on the map. I'm going to click on that home. On the left-hand side, the home information will pop up. Okay. And I should get a Google Street View here shortly. It's going to show me an estimate of value. I can favorite the home. I can immediately share the home. You'll see reports. This is where I can pull up a property report. That's similar to the property profile that you're all used to. I can even generate a full property report. I can add this as a comparison property. I can create a CMA with this property. I can add it to an existing CMA. Here's one of the things that I think is the most incredible feature for this is for any of these properties. Again, I can look at the analytics map. I can tap into all these data points for this property. I can look at these lot details. It actually maps out this particular lot, right? And it shows me what that lot slope looks like, how usable it is. Okay. But what I really like is I can get into historical information, property information. If I expand property information, I can see if there's been any permits pulled on this property. Let me try the neighboring property. Permits. You're going to have access to permits. On this neighboring property that I just clicked on, there was a permit pulled in 2016 to have the HVAC, to have the 9 supply ducts and 1 return replaced. Is that pretty incredible or what? We get historical permit information. Where else can you pull this type of information for a property? Getting permit information for properties, it doesn't really exist. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop right there. Hopefully I piqued your interest with this. One of my favorite data platforms, if not the top data platform that I've ever seen. When you get access to this, you're going to have access to every single thing that we just touched on right now What I want you to do is reach out to the person that invited you to this and say, I want access. Give them your email address. They'll send you an invite right away. Renan said, this is pretty cool to reverse prospect for buyers' wants and needs. Absolutely. No question that it is. I can see you utilizing this as a awesome data tool for really providing rich data for properties, for listings that you might have, incorporating some of this data into a listing presentation, utilizing this for working with buyers, taking their final list of properties that they've whittled down. You've showed them 20 properties, they're down to 3. Compare those with each other. Identify the right one based on tapping into 47 trillion data points. Thanks so much for jumping on, investing in your business today. I'm Aaron Lacey, and I'm with My Home, the sister company of WFG National Title. I appreciate you joining. Reach out to the person that invited you to this. They'll get you access to this, and you're going to love it. I look forward to seeing what you do with this platform. Thank you so much for joining. And by the way, if we haven't connected yet, the offer's on the table. Reach out to the person that invited you to this. Let's get connected. I'd love to help you with your business. And if there's a speaking opportunity, if I can bring value to you, your team, your group, your association, let the person that invited you to this know. Take care. Bye, guys.